And in fact, I was kind of excited about another possibility here, that if he defends his bishop casually with queen d7, I'll have b4, the knight moves, and then rook c7. So that becomes a very interesting tactic, because queen takes and knight e6. So I'll show you that. Well, actually, he played queen e7, and I did play b4, so with this idea of rook c7. So let's see he played here. Now here, rook c7 is good, but it's not the strongest. As I say, I did look at the game with Rivka after. So in the game, I thought, this knight takes e6, so forking queen and king. But actually here, he's got bishop d7, and if bishop b5, I'm still winning, but it's not as clear cut. I can win the exchange, for example. I believe knight c6, and win the exchange. So knight takes d8 here. But there's actually an even more crushing idea, but much simpler than rook c7. No need for flash. Here, just knight takes e6 and rook c7. So if the king has to move back, now there's rook takes h6 crashing through, mating. Knight takes, it's just mating. Yeah. So so that there's no need for flash at all here. There's no need for rook c7. So in the game anyway, he was concerned about his 7th rank, and he plays knight d7, which is probably the only move. So I come in with the rook to the 7th rank, and these knights are fantastic now. I start to really see the power of the position. And although I haven't castled still, his bishop's still bad. His king's a target on the 7th rank. His knight's pinned to the queen. The queen and the king are also liabilities. And this pawn's still vulnerable. He can't do king h8 that easily without laying rook h6s. And also I'm threatening bishop b5, knight e6 and rook d7. I'm threatening to dismantle, these two pieces pretty soon. So he plays king h7, because there was also another major threat of knight c6 here, and the queen's only got one square. And that's also dangerous. So, for example, rook d8, knight c6 if I want to win the exchange. So queen g5 I'll take and win the exchange if I wanted to. So anyway, he played king h7. So I played bishop b5. So he defends that. And, I'm tempted to win the exchange. Knight c6, but, maybe queen g7 or queen f8, and I win the exchange. But then, I lose this really nice knight, and I had an emotional attachment to this knight on d4, because it's, blockading the d pawn. It's really powerful, and I've got that option always to try and dismantle e6, which would in turn undermine d7. So what I played actually, instead of knight c6, was actually f4, because I thought if I can play knight e6 and queen h3, then he's in real trouble. Because if the queen, takes on h3, I take, then I've got e6 as well as threatening rook d7, and I think I thought he was falling to bits here finally, because the knight's also stopping any rook c8s. So I thought this was stronger, and he plays another sort of blunder now. I think the strongest move technically is bishop g4, but it is still, I think, hopeless for black. But he plays knight f6, offering me another weakness now. Basically, I just simply took on e6, and now f5. So I'm threatening now queen h6 check, king g8, queen h8 mates, because the knight is guarding f7. So here he has to lose material, because queen e5 I just take, and there's no knight e5, there's no rook e8 because knight takes. I mean, that's just losing tons and tons of material. So he actually played this, which is completely lost, because I'm just winning a piece now. So I took, and then took on d7. And the cruel thing about this, so he'd reached move 30, to get another 15 minutes. But now I've just got knight c8 as well. So as well as being a piece up, I'm now threatening d8 queening. So he has to play knight e6. And I just play bishop c6 here. So if the rook moves, bishop takes d5. I'm a piece up. And also I'm rolling him completely with these pawns. I don't even need the rook. e6 and then e7 is just crushing. So yeah, it was an interesting game, but it was a game which, as I say, at one moment I thought I wasn't doing that well. So let's have a quick overview and summary. It was a kind of mixture of, you know, starting with a Reti, then an English transposition, and a kind of weird King's Indian with extra dark square weaknesses. So knight d6, yeah, the knight turned out to be good, but it was at this moment in time that I was uncertain here because of black's possibility of undermining the knight with f6. So hg, you know, had a kind of positional idea to stop black playing f6, just give black a bit of pressure instead, but without the undermining possibility. And it worked out very well, especially because of this, you know, this powerful knight on d4, which I grew to really like because it offered loads of, you know, tactical ideas. So rook c7, and there was absolutely no need for me to castle because there was no concrete threats against my king. I had all the pressure at the moment, all the pins. So bishop b5, and now this is just f4 because this really just keeps all the tension. It makes sure in a lot of variations I'm not going to lose e5. You know, just keeping up the threats like knight e6 and queen h3, like major threats, to just totally undermine d7. And then he, you know, this just loses outright because of f5. So if queen, you know, queen takes queen h6 and then mating on h8. I'll just quickly show you that. I didn't show you that explicitly. So this is mate because of the knight. It's guarding f7. So he just lost lots of material, and then the menacing d pawn after that. I hope you enjoyed that. Please leave any comments or questions on YouTube. Thanks very much.